Hi, aloha, and welcome to the That's Not Normal podcast. My name is Jennifer O'Neill.
And I'm Michelle Schneider, giving you a friendly little reminder that if you like today's topic, to please give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes, very important. We've gotten a lot of comments. I don't know if you've read them. I have read them. We've gotten a lot of comments on the new name. Everybody's really loving the That's Not Normal podcast name. I
Good.
love
I
it.
need to make a point to look at the comments more because I know it's like I don't get the notifications on those. So it's like I have to remind myself to go over. So,
Yes.
but happy that everyone's loving it.
Yeah, I think it's more fitting. We have a lot going on right now that I just wanted to give everybody a heads up and reminder of. We have a Spirit Expo coming up in Rapid City, South Dakota on March 22nd and 23rd. I think that that's a real important thing to remind everybody about if you're near Rapid City, South Dakota, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, any of those areas. I've had people come in from, yeah, other states to come to the expo. So that'll be exciting. Michelle, you will be there as well.
Yes, I will be doing tarot readings, so I'm very
Mhm.
excited about that, and you're right, when I did tarot readings at the last one that you had in October, I was getting people from all over, I
Yes.
was surprised at how far some people had traveled, and
Yeah,
a lot of times people had said that was their first tarot reading ever, so I was also very shocked about that too.
I know, right? That what they it's so fun. Like people were shopping and there's lots of products and candles and jewelry really. Oh, and I have some super cool jewelry I'm bringing. I always have cool jewelry, I feel like, but I was like, wait a minute, don't I always have cool jewelry? But I have a new line that I'm working with, the Third Eye line, and such cool stuff. The Evil Eye and Third Eyes earrings and rings and bracelets. Oh my gosh, they are amazing. Love them. Those will be new there. And then me and you always do a talk.
Yeah.
So there's free speakers, really good speakers, a lot of galleries. So I think me and you are gonna try to do a gallery.
Yeah,
Uh,
we've talked a little bit about it.
yeah, so that's really fun if you haven't experienced reading or you're a little bit nervous about it. Those are really fun because you kind of get a little introduction to what it's about and how it works, and you get to hear a little bit of other people's readings, but it's not as scary. I feel like people get nervous, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't be nervous if you have a good reader.
And I will say with gallery, in case anybody out there who's watching isn't familiar with that, because I know that that wasn't a term that I was sort of familiar with when I was first getting into everything. But a gallery would just be more of like a group reading, and you're kind of pulling people out of the group and answering questions, and everybody gets to
And
hear.
let's rephrase pulling people out of the group because people might panic. We're actually just talking to them. If there's a message that comes through for that person, we deliver the message to you within a group setting. And then some people do have questions. So yes, galleries are actually really popular, and I'm surprised that you didn't hear of them before.
Well, I mean, I was super green. I would, like I said, 2017 was really like the time where I was getting into spirituality. So that really wasn't that long ago.
That's
So
That's true. Back in the day, when I very first started, galleries were incredibly popular, I guess I would say. Lots and lots of gallery readings. So they're fun. They're a fun introduction. You don't feel the pressure. You can just observe. You get to be involved in the spiritual connection. It's very cool. So, anyways, we have that going on. I believe I'll actually be doing readings there. If you follow me or would like to get a reading, that's the place to get it, hands down, because will be having a show price where I do 10-minute readings, and it's way, way cheaper than my regular price. So I usually get flooded with people because it's such a great deal. And I love to meet with people and talk with them. But also, I'll be doing this super cool thing about energy scanning. That's going to be mind blowing for some people, which kind of is a little bit in alignment with what we're going to talk about today. Um, we want to talk about the three pillars and how to keep your energy balanced.
And when you say 3 pillars, so that everybody knows what we're talking about, what do you mean by 3 pillars?
Well, and that's the
Well,
good
you're meaning more
part.
physical, mental,
Sauce right now,
emotional. Yeah.
yes. So, what I mean by the 3 pillars is the physical, the emotional, the spiritual. So, when people think mind, body, spirit, it's similar to that, and when people think body, they know what that is, it's the physical. When they think mind, they do that incorrectly sometimes. That's really the emotional aspect, and then we have the spiritual body, which people can kinda, relate to what those things are. So, they're very important to energetic balance. So, energetic balance is and should be I'm just hearing a lot. I'm getting a lot of spirit info as we're doing this podcast, which is really interesting. Um, it should be very much on your radar. And I don't feel that people kind of go down that road very much. They don't relate to that. I think for several reasons. I don't think that it's talked about often, except for in traditional Chinese medicine, which clearly they talk about it within the whole body healing of any sort, which has been around for 5,000 years, which at some point makes me go like, why does Western medicine not encompass this thing that's been around 5,000 years? Because we are a culture that thinks, yeah, we're really smart now. Like we're the smartest we've ever been in the last 200 years, which is just astronomically crazy because that is absolutely not true. In
Well, if
fact,
you've ever gone to the doctor and they've can't figure out your health issues, I would say, well, it's definitely not true because they are not the smartest.
well, there's a place for them, don't get me wrong.
Yes, I
I'm
know.
very supportive of the medical community, but I feel like there's a large piece missing.
Yeah.
So, let's kinda put that to the side a minute, and talk about why I'm talking about this. I do have a lot of clients whether they're working with or trying to overcome depression, anxiety, uh, working with manifestation, a chronic illness, the theme is always the same. It's going to come back to balancing all aspects of who you are, which is the mind, body, spirit, but also the three pillars. It comes back to that every single time. It's going to be very important for you to be working on all cylinders. These three components need to be working together. So, energetic balance, I want on everybody's mind right now because there is a component to the energetic balance in every aspect of those pillars. People will want to try to separate the physical from energetic, which is entirely wrong and inappropriate because the physical is physical because of the energetic. The energy that we have creates mass. And so there's an energetic component to every aspect that we're talking about here, whether it be your spirit, everybody views that as energetic, emotional, that is 100% an energetic frequency, and then we have the physical, which absolutely is energetic. That's the core of the body mass. And so, energetic balance is incredibly important to your quality of life. And it doesn't matter if you're having a health issue, chronic illness, you're having an emotional issue, anxiety, overwhelm, depression, or you're having a spiritual issue where you're feeling disconnected, blocked, or you're having trouble with manifestation, you would like to learn more about your gifts. Any of those aspects, energy is involved. And I feel like it's really overlooked. So I want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about the what most people do. Most people can manage pretty well the or they feel like they're managing pretty well. It's on their radar is what I mean. The physical component. They understand it. They have grown up with it. They're very well versed with a lot of things and that would involve like nutrition, exercise, you know, healthcare, weight, all of the things. So people have an understanding about that. Then we have the emotional component, the mind aspect. And they're getting more familiar with how that plays a role as far as, anxiety, overwhelm, and things like that. So they will do different things to try to manage that. It's starting to become on people's radar as an empath and how to manage energy around people and something. Um, or somewhere, I mean, not something. When you go around people, you have this energetic component, but there's a lot more to the mind aspect. And then you have the spiritual aspect, which I feel like people teeter on one end or the other. They're already sorry, they are very tuned in spiritually, or they're not. And what I mean by that is they go on this roller coaster of, I'm very tuned in, and then life got in the way, so I'm not as much anymore. Then I'm very tuned in, and then life got in the way. So it feels like a, I don't want to say a choice, but it feels like it's not really important, but it's there if you would like it to be. That's, I feel like, how people navigate that. I feel like they put much more importance on the emotional aspect and the physical aspect, which this is going to cause a lot of problems if you just focus on one of the pillars or another. I think that it's good to start with one pillar, but in order to correct any imbalance going on in your life and enhance your quality of life, whether it be a physical issue, chronic illness, things of that nature, emotional issue, or a manifestation issue, you have to be having all components working together. It's very important to have this balance between everything. So
Because
you
I think one impacts the other. I mean, they're not just separate. I mean, in order to get some sort of balance, like if you're having some health issue and you're trying to just address it from a scientific method of like we've got to get the body healthy, but yet you've got all of these emotional issues that you're not addressing, then
right,
that's where it's going to
yes.
always be out of balance.
Yes, and or they just kind of put to side their spiritual connection. Well, you have to have all the things. You also can't be entirely faith-based and then ignore the physical aspects and just think, "Oh, well, God's gonna heal me," and all those aspects either. That's where the balance comes in. So let's talk about that a little bit more. I do feel like while people are aware of the physical aspect, they do negate a lot of things that need to happen when it comes to the energetic. For instance, exercise and movement. I tell everybody all the time, when you feel like your blood's moving, like you are going for a walk or you go for a bike ride or whatever, you're moving the energy within the physical body. So there's a physical body energy component, and those are run through your meridians. And like I said, things that you would use acupuncture for, or different things like that. It's been in Chinese medicine forever and ever. There is an actual energetic component that runs through every organ of your body. It keeps it alive. It keeps life in the tissues within the organs, the skin, the blood, all the things. And you have to um amplify movement of that energy. You have to have that on your radar. It's very, very important not to allow the physical body energy to become stagnant. And that means sitting too much. It means not getting out and moving. It means just being very unaware. Everybody would like to exercise, but the mental hurdle is huge to try to, especially when you live in areas where it's very cold. I can see that. I understand that. But it's like, which aspect do you want more? Is it more important to be physically, mentally healthy? Then moving the energy of the body allows the physical body to properly heal itself. But then that also ties into the emotional aspect. I find it very interesting how many people do and then also don't relate the emotional aspect and the emotional energy of who you are to physical movement. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Um, it wasn't very long ago that I started struggling with kind of menopausal symptoms. And I've always been an athlete. I've always exercised at least a couple of times a week for, I mean, I was on tennis team. I did all this stuff when I was younger, but I've been doing that a couple times a week for probably 12 years now. It's been a long time. But when I started having the menopausal symptoms, Spirit, my counsel, had told me that I need to up my workout. And basically one day when I was really struggling with it, said, "You go to work out right now." Now, luckily in Hawaii, we have a lanai that has a lot of workout equipment in it because I've been working with this for a while. And so I did this and I kept hearing my counsel. They just kept telling me things. And I thought this is really strange because they don't usually intervene in such a aggressive way. Now, to be fair, I asked for it because I was really struggling with this. About a half hour, everything changed. Long story short, there was a very real component between the emotional aspect of the menopause and the physical aspect of the menopause. And I work out every day to keep the emotional and the physical in balance. And so when I started talking to people about that, a lot of the people who I know that work out like almost every day or many times a week, they do it for the emotional aspect. People who kind of get addicted to working out, they had anxiety, overwhelm, um, depression, and they didn't know what else to do. So when they started being physical, they started noticing that it balanced everything and everything started to be more copacetic within their being. So we have that aspect of it where people get it and relate it. And then we have another aspect of it where there's a whole bunch of people that are like, well, how's that even work? Where's the connection being made? I don't understand it. And so they go more of a medicinal route, which again, that might be better for some people. But understanding how that these all keep everything in balance, everything needs to be um, accounted for, and energy needs to be moving properly to keep energetic balance, and then to have our quality of life and our physical experience be on a high frequency side. You need to understand that these then work together. Then I've had people and clients and students that they were working out very well. They were moving the energy of the body. They were very aware of the nutritional aspect. And this doesn't mean that you have to be a bodybuilder, and it doesn't mean that you have to eat, like granola and yogurt and become a vegan. That's not what it means. It's all about balance. It means about being more conscientious about not maybe eating McDonald's every day or something.
Yeah.
It's got more of a balance aspect. So I have had a lot of people that they do the physical, the nutritional, the within that falls like a sleep regimen as well. Then they try to manage their stress levels, toxicity, energy from other people in their life, and then they entirely negate the spiritual aspect, which is mind-blowing for me, because some of these people will be students that I have, that they have this drive and this urge. They have a gift to develop their spirituality, their psychic abilities, their mediumship abilities, and whatever. And then they just go, yeah, yeah, I don't have time for that. And they're like, I still, something's not right. I'm not feeling balanced. And I'll be like, well, how much spiritual stuff are you doing? Like, are you doing card pulls? Are you doing meditation? Are you working with the spiritual aspect at all? Well, no, I haven't had time. It's been very stressful. Well, you cannot maintain balance without doing that. Now, I think talking about the spiritual aspect is important too. It doesn't have to be that you have to be a psychic student or a psychic in general or any type of skill set where you're going to do it as a profession. Doesn't mean you have to do that, but there has to be some faith based belief system that you're working with and you're connected to. if that makes sense. If
Yeah, because I'm thinking, let's just say Joe Schmo off the street, not really into the psychic stuff, but like maybe experiencing, issues. How does the spiritual stuff apply to them? Is it more, I know you mentioned meditation where it's like maybe, people meditate, but they're not necessarily super spiritual, but that is a way to sort of connect
100%.
more.
That's still a way to raise your vibrational frequency and to focus upon spiritual energy and energy within the spiritual body. So it doesn't have to be that you have to go to church, but it could be. Maybe that's your bond, that's your connection. It doesn't have to be that you believe in any sort of specific higher consciousness, but you believe in some higher consciousness and or maybe several. It's just believing in something and I don't know, like facilitating that connection with something that's bigger than the physical. It's feeling that because once you start feeling that, what happens is you connect in with energy outside of yourself. So we have the physical energy is going to run through the physical body. The emotional energy is going to also be very closely linked. It's going to link two things together. It's going to link the spiritual aspect of who you are and the physical body. It's kind of the bridge between, but you have a little bit more control over navigating that. Then when you introduce a spiritual component, that is more outside of yourself. It could be even that you're just very connected to the moon, universal laws, manifestation energy. You could be very much into the Buddhist type culture. It doesn't matter to me what you choose, but there needs to be a component where there's something greater and grander than what you can see on a physical basis, and you connect with that energy. So that energy is a lot more expansive than the physical energy, which is more restrictive. And so that expansion helps your energy to project out a lot further and receive more info. And when you project out a lot further, because you are now bonding and connecting with an energy that is much larger and grander than your very physical being, that will heighten your energetic frequency. And that's super important to health and healing on an emotional and a physical scale. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So you need that in your life. You need to feel beyond. You need to be able to feel past where your current vibrational experience is. It allows you to tune into things that are much grander. It allows you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It allows you to have hope and faith and belief in change and shifting. It allows you to be more in tune with your intuition that then can help guide you a different direction. And then if we want to take it a step further to the type of work that we do, or just regular, like Sally on the street or whatever, that will tune you to your intuition, your psychic abilities, whatever your gut feelings. It will tune you like a tuning fork.
Yeah.
You will begin to vibrate within that frequency. And that's incredibly important to navigate life on a physical level. There's information there that you may use intuitive eating. You may use intuitive healing, meaning I feel like I need to have this type of nutrition, or I'm drawn to this, or somehow it comes on your radar, maybe a certain type of vitamin or whatever. Or maybe you get to the right um, doctor or physician, or maybe you don't realize that you need rest and relaxation, and you just start to feel it within the meditation. There's so many aspects that help to balance the emotional and physical, but you can't have one without the other. They need to work as a team. And if you pull one away, it's like having a three-legged stool, trying to sit on it and have somebody rip one leg away. Like
Yeah.
it's just not helpful at all. There's going to be no stability.
I'm wondering if it could just even be as simple, just trying to relate this to like, your everyday average person, of doing things that you love, that fulfill you, which can also sort of help raise your frequency. So it's like if you love spending time in nature, if you love going out, and golfing, like doing those things, how important that actually is for
Well,
your
that
health.
why that relates is because spiritual energy is based upon an expansive and creative energy. So it's based on passion, creativity, and expansion. That's where the spiritual energy component comes in. And so what you're talking about is once you start to expand your energy via passion or creativity, what happens is that energy starts to expand outside your body. It starts to go much further than your body in your room, and your frequency will raise. And when it starts to naturally raise and expand, then it starts to tune in to spiritual energy, whether that be universal energy, your guides, things of that nature. You start to vibe on the same wavelength. And when you start to vibe on the same wavelength, you can receive information that can become very helpful for you. Then, from an emotional standpoint, you've raised your frequency. So that is going to affect your emotional aspect because you, again, are going to see things differently. You're going to be tuned into different energy. You're going to draw in high frequency experiences. Then, as a physical body aspect, when you have that creative, passionate energy that's expansive, that frequency also adjusts the frequency of the physical body. So it adjusts the emotional frequency and the physical body frequency. And when our physical body cells start vibrating at a very high level, then they naturally do what they're supposed to do. It will naturally rid toxic cells. It will kind of shed them, I guess I would say, in essence. It will adjust cells and heal the body. The body naturally is designed to heal itself. And I've seen this over and over again when I've done medical mediumship. It's naturally designed to heal itself, but we get in the way all the time. We get in the way. The biggest problem is the emotional body, the
Mhm.
mind aspect, the emotional aspect. That causes more problems within the physical body naturally healing itself. If we just let it do its thing, and we focused upon what you were saying, the creative aspect and the passion and all of that, we keep our frequency on the higher side, it naturally does what it needs to do. But we don't. We worry, we have anxiety, we force ourselves to do things we don't like. I can't becomes part of your vocabulary. The energy then depletes. And once you deplete the energy of the emotional body, now we're going to see it on a physical scale, which brings me to the energetic scans, um, and the biowell scans that I've been doing with everybody.
Do you want
That
to talk about how you discovered this? Because I think it's kind of fun.
this is fun with the retreat thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, I was doing a spiritual retreat out here in Hawaii, and I had a feeling to order a very specific book for the people at the retreat. It's a Dr. Joe Dispenza book. He teaches a lot of things very similar to what I teach, differently, but like same type of concept. And for some reason, I had just had a strong feeling to order. For some reason, you love it when I say that. I had this strong feeling to order this book for everybody. And I thought, this is interesting because I've never read this book. And typically, if I'm doing a retreat or something and I'm giving materials to read, they're ones I've read, obviously. So I thought, well, whatever. It's a high intuitive hit. Gonna order it. So I ordered it for everybody, did the retreat, and my daughter comes back and says, "Look at this right here. I want you to do this." And it was one of the energetic scans, an energetic analysis that he had in the book. And I was like, wait, what is this? And I started looking at it, and it was this GDV technology. And I just went down a rabbit hole. I'm like, because I do so much medical mediumship and because I work with people's energy systems and I see their energy, and then I have to explain to them why it's off and where the emotional component is, and in very specific instances in your life that would tie to your stomach or your liver or whatever it is, and how we need to correct those imbalances. I just had to know. So I went down this entire rabbit hole, found the exact one that they use and ordered it. But when I found it, I was like, oh, that's why I ordered the book. I will probably truthfully never get around to reading the book because I'm so busy. But clearly, it was for her to show me the next tool that I was supposed to be introducing into my energetic practice, or, business here. So I got the energetic analysis scanner, and it's mind blowing. And that is where I think a lot of my clients are going to see and understand this conversation a lot more, because you can actually see what happens from an energetic standpoint. They have graphs and all of these absolutely amazing visual images of what your energy looks like in every aspect of your physical body: cardiovascular, lungs, left kidney, right kidney, eyes, all, you name it,
Your chakras.
your chakras. It's crazy. And it's the response has been incredible. I will be doing these scans at the Rapid City Expo. So if you're interested, you absolutely want to come by and at least check it out and possibly get one, because they are incredibly informative. And then I will be taking appointments here in Hawaii too, when I get back. So I'll be doing all kinds of scans. But what I think the gold in that is if you are working at a job that you don't love, and you have high stress in your life, either from the job or for something else, your energy's low. It shows on the scans. It gives you a visual of how that's affecting your physical body. And it's sort of shocking in some aspects, because the things that I see from a medical intuitive standpoint, a medical medium standpoint, now you guys get to see from just a physical being standpoint. And there's no denying, when you have low energy, how that is affecting your physical body when you visually see it on these scans. There's just no way to deny it. Then you can get rescanned after you make some adjustments. So it's a very visual component to, I can't change this, I can't change that. You know, I can't move my body. I need to stay here to pay the bills. That's fine and understandable, but then you need to understand what that's going to do to your body long term. And here's a visual of what it looks like right now. And if this continues to go on, you will be able to see and understand how that can turn into a chronic condition if you don't have one already. It's so informative. Everybody
Yeah, it's
that's
like a 20-page report that you get,
Yeah,
right?
it's a 22 to 25-page report that you get printed out. And even I've been scanning everybody. So, like, I have a very good idea of what is normal and what's not normal. But it's funny, I even scanned my 16-year-old little brother, and he's like, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life." I was like, wow, that's very impressive, coming from a 16-year-old. But yeah, everybody's just mind boggled, and it picks up on things you would be shocked.
Like
Like,
subtle things too,
subtle
or
things. If your right hip is hurting, it's gonna show up on there. If you have any type of back issue, it's gonna show up on there. Allergies, it's gonna show up on there. It's crazy. I had somebody that thought that they had really bad allergies, and I was pretty sure from what I could see from the medical medium standpoint that that was not entirely physical. That there was some emotional aspect to it that was causing more problems. Showed up that it was more emotional and not physical.
yeah,
So,
that's the other thing that's crazy is, like, there's sides of it. So it's like if
yes,
it's on one side, it really means it's emotional versus, whether it's an actual physical issue. And the other thing too is like the yin and the yang, balance and
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is based upon Chinese medicine and the meridians within the fingertips and what energy that you're projecting, but it's based upon a technology from the 1700s. As far as capturing it on film, the other aspects of it, as far as the meridians, is based upon the energy stuff from, again, Chinese medicine from like 5,000 years. So we have that aspect. Then we have the way that it's captured on film aspect from several hundred years ago. They use that technology. They put it all together, and they've been using. Dr. Joe Dispenza uses it in all of his workshops. They use it in hospitals and done research in all kinds of countries all over the world. And the accuracy again is uncanny. I thought it was going to be cool, but I didn't had no idea that it was going to be as cool as it is. I'm just like, wow, this blows it out of the water. And what I like about it is what I said. It verifies the things that I see, and it's verifying for the client. So I feel like that makes it more real. Once you see it on paper,
I
I
feel
feel like
like it's a human thing. We love to see. Seeing is believing. We want that proof, and yeah.
everybody loves the visuals, just like that's why they love the tarot cards. It's like, I've had people when I do psychic readings go, "But do you do cards?" And for the longest time, I'm like, "Wait, what?" Well, yeah, I can, but I don't need them. And then I realized, oh, they need them because if it's in the cards and it shows and it flips over and there's a picture, they're like, oh, yes, must be true because that's where she got it from is this picture, not from wherever I can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very cool. Definitely stop by the expo in Rapid if you want to have that done. But I'm already taking appointments because I've had so many people request to have them.
No,
Um,
I'll say one thing too, just from hearing about all the things that you're learning, and as cool as this camera is, I don't think like it is such a huge learning curve from what it sounds like, and the knowledge that you need to sort of really wrap your brain around it. That it's not necessarily for the average. If you're like, oh, I'm
no,
gonna buy the camera, I'd be
absolutely.
like,
I when I was researching about it before I got it, I thought there was a few people that had comment on, it's hard to read this report and this report. And when I started doing it, I was like, oh yeah, no way. Regular people just would never be able to read this thing. Like this is insanity. My background absolutely gives me a lot of info to be able to read that. But even so, there was a very large learning curve for me, and I'm very well versed in energy and energetic analysis. So I do know that some doctors do use them, but yeah, it's definitely not something that you would want to purchase unless you were in the medical field or medical medium or something like that. You would need to understand a lot more to explain it to somebody.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that it's so much. I feel like I'm in like an energetic medical school again at this point, but again, I have a huge background and it is what I do. So, yeah, it's very cool. So, if you're interested, definitely check it out. Come down and see us at the Rapid City Expo, March 22nd and 23rd. I am looking to do one in Hawaii, an expo for those of you who have been asking, because I have a lot of people asking me about it. That will hopefully be in June, end of June or beginning of July here. And if you would like to get an energetic scan, because I know I have a lot of people from Hawaii that also listen, get on my newsletter and watch from my appointments to start opening up in March or April so that you can get scanned. It's really cool. I mean, it's just amazing. And you will want to email me at Jennifer at Keys to the Spirit World. Or you can go to keys to the spirit world.com and just get on the newsletter there. So,
yeah.
all right. Anything else? Oh, yeah.
Well, I would say if this has sparked any questions, you should definitely leave those in the comments and we can address those. If you like today's topic, please give the video a like and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes, for sure. And we will see you next week. Have the most amazing day. Aloha. Bye.
Bye.